From guitar prodigy to rock legend, Eric Clapton has lived a life full of remarkable highs and devastating lows. But how did he become one of the most celebrated musicians in history? Let's unlock the timeline of the man known as Slowhand and discover the triumphs, tragedies, and reinventions that shaped his extraordinary career. Born on March 30, 1945, in Ripley, Surrey, England, Clapton entered the world in difficult circumstances. His mother, Patricia Molly Clapton, was just 16 years old when she gave birth to him, and his father, Edward Fryer, was a Canadian soldier stationed in England during World War II. After Fryer returned to Canada, Clapton's mother was unable to raise him, and Eric was left in the care of his grandparents, Rose and Jack Clapton. He grew up believing his mother was his sister, a revelation that shook him to the core when he discovered the truth at age 9. This early emotional turmoil had a profound effect on Clapton's psyche and later fed into the soulfulness of his music. Music entered Clapton's life in a significant way when he received a guitar for his 13th birthday. Although he initially struggled with it, the blues music of artists like B.B. King, Muddy Waters, and Robert Johnson ignited a passion in him that drove him to master the instrument. Clapton spent hours every day practicing, and by the time he was a teenager, his raw talent was undeniable. His early influences were deeply rooted in American blues, which would remain a core component of his musical identity throughout his career. In 1963, at the age of 18, Clapton joined the Yardbirds, a British band that combined rock and blues. Clapton's fiery guitar solos quickly earned him the nickname Slowhand, a play on his slow, deliberate style of bending strings, which contrasted with the frenetic energy of rock and roll. As the Yardbirds' popularity grew, so did Clapton's reputation as a virtuoso guitarist. But when the band began shifting toward a more commercial pop sound with hits like For Your Love, Clapton, ever the purist, grew frustrated. In 1965, he made the bold decision to leave the band in search of a more authentic blues sound, a move that demonstrated Clapton's uncompromising dedication to his art. Following his departure from the Yardbirds, Clapton joined John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers, a group that provided the perfect platform for his burgeoning talent. It was here that Clapton truly came into his own as a blues guitarist, earning the moniker God from fans who scrawled the word on walls in London, testament to his extraordinary skill. The 1966 album Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, often referred to as the Beano album, became a seminal record in the blues rock genre, with Clapton's explosive, emotive playing taking center stage. His solos on tracks like Hideaway and All Your Love set the standard for blues guitarists and solidified his status as one of the greatest guitarists of his generation. Later in 1966, Clapton took another step forward by co-founding the groundbreaking supergroup Cream, alongside drummer Ginger Baker and bassist Jack Bruce. Cream blended blues, rock, and psychedelia in a way that had never been done before. Clapton's playing on songs like Sunshine of Your Love, White Room, and Crossroads became iconic, showcasing his ability to combine technical brilliance with emotional depth. Cream's improvisational live performances pushed the boundaries of what rock music could be, making them one of the most influential bands of the 1960s. However, the intense personal and creative differences between Clapton, Bruce, and Baker led to Cream's breakup in 1968 after only 2 years and 4 albums. Despite their short lifespan, Cream's impact on rock music was immense, and Clapton's role in the band cemented him as a true innovator. During this period, Clapton forged a deep friendship with George Harrison of the Beatles. The two shared a mutual respect for each other's musical abilities, and Clapton played lead guitar on the Beatles' 1968 song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But Clapton's personal life became complicated when he fell in love with Harrison's wife, Pattie Boyd. This unrequited love inspired Clapton to write Layla, the title track for his 1970 album with Derek and the Dominoes. The song is a masterpiece, blending Clapton's aching, soulful guitar work with the raw emotion of his feelings for Boyd. Layla became one of the defining tracks of Clapton's career, and the Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs album is considered a classic of rock history. While his professional life was reaching new heights, Clapton's personal life was unraveling. By the early 1970s, Clapton had descended into a debilitating heroin addiction, spurred on by the pressures of fame and his complicated romantic life. For 3 years, he was largely absent from the music scene, retreating into isolation. It wasn't until the 1973 Rainbow concert, organized by his friend Pete Townsend of The Who, that Clapton made a public return to the stage. The concert helped revive Clapton's career and marked the beginning of his recovery from addiction, though his struggles with alcohol would continue for years. In 1974, Clapton returned to the studio, recording 461 Ocean Boulevard, an album that reflected a more laid-back, introspective Clapton. His cover of Bob Marley's "I Shot the Sheriff" became a #1 hit and introduced reggae to a wider audience. The success of the album marked Clapton's transition from blues rock icon to a more mainstream artist, capable of crossing genres. Throughout the rest of the 1970s, Clapton continued to release hit albums like Slowhand, 1977, featuring classics like Cocaine and Wonderful Tonight, the latter of which was written for Pattie Boyd, who he eventually married in 1979 after her divorce from Harrison. But tragedy struck in 1991 when Clapton's 4-year-old son, Connor, died in a horrific accident, falling from a 53rd floor window in New York City. Clapton was devastated by the loss and retreated from the public eye once again. However, he channeled his grief into the heartbreaking song, "Tears in Heaven," which became one of his biggest hits. The song not only connected with millions of listeners worldwide but also marked a turning point in Clapton's life, as he began to focus on his recovery from alcoholism and sought solace in his music. In 1992, Clapton released his Unplugged album, a live acoustic performance that became one of the best-selling albums of all time. It included stripped-down versions of many of his classic songs, including a poignant acoustic rendition of Layla. The album's raw, intimate sound showcased a more mature, reflective Clapton and won him several Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. His unplugged performance became legendary, proving that even without his electric guitar, Clapton's musical brilliance was undeniable. The 1990s also saw Clapton reconnecting with his blues roots. In 1994, he released From the Cradle, an album of pure blues covers that paid homage to his early influences. It was a commercial and critical success, proving that Clapton had never strayed far from the music that first inspired him. His deep reverence for the blues was further showcased in his 2004 album Me and Mr. Johnson, a tribute to blues legend Robert Johnson. As he entered the 2000s, Clapton faced several health challenges, including nerve damage that affected his ability to play guitar. Despite these setbacks, he continued to record and perform, demonstrating his undying passion for music. In 2005, Clapton reunited with Cream for a series of concerts, bringing a nostalgic close to one of the most important chapters of his career. Clapton's legacy as one of the greatest guitarists of all time is unquestionable. His influence spans multiple genres, from blues and rock to reggae and pop. But beyond the accolades, his life story is one of resilience, redemption, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. Clapton has shown that even in the face of personal tragedy and professional setbacks, one can rise again and continue to create art that touches the lives of millions. And that's the incredible timeline of Eric Clapton, his highs, his lows, and his enduring contributions to music. But what do you think? Which era of Clapton's career resonates with you the most? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Timelines Unlocked for more deep dives into the lives of legendary celebrities. See you in the next video.